Hey folks, welcome to another end-user training video. In the tutorials I've created so far, we've always approached the concept of publishing files in a straightforward manner. You want to publish a file? Simply click the Publish button and it's done. However, for many people, that's not how it works. Instead of a Publish button, there's one that says Submit. That means the user is involved in a workflow, meaning they have to send the file to another user in order to get it published. Today, I want to take some time and discuss the basics of this process. Here inside OU Campus, I've traveled to a page inside my Academics directory. I'm still logged in as my normal Level 6 user, but in this example I'm now part of a workflow. You can see that I don't see the Publish button when I travel to the page, and when I check it out, I see the Submit button appear in its place. Say that I've already made my changes to the page and now it's time to submit. Clicking the button brings up a dialog box that allows me to send a message to the person I'm submitting the page to. While we're here, a few things to note. First of all, the drop-down menu that allows me to pick an approver is currently grayed out. That means that my approver is enforced, meaning that I can't change who the page is sent to. Typically, administrators will enforce an approver at my user level, so no matter where I am in the site, I'll still send the page to the same person. Let's take a quick look and see what happens if my approver is not enforced. As you can see here, the To drop-down menu is now clickable, and I can choose any other user that exists in my account to send the page to. Alright, so let's go back to my enforced approver scenario. Once I've chosen my approver, if I'm able to, I also need to enter in a message in the submission dialog, which I can use to give my approvers some detailed information about what I did to the page or what specifically I need approval on. We also have that familiar Send Copy to Email checkbox, so the message can be sent to the other user's external email account. Once that's done, I can click on the Submit button. When I do that, a message will get sent to the user to which I sent the page. Also, the page will immediately get checked out to the person I submitted it to. We can see this by the lock symbol appearing where my light bulb icon used to be, and the fact that we can't do really anything but preview the page. If we go back to the page's list view, we'll also see that our file has a little person symbol in front of it. When you see this symbol, the file is pending another user's approval. Alright, we've seen how to submit something for approval. Now let's pick things up from the perspective of the approver. Okay. Now I'm logged into OU Campus as the user who I sent that page to. Let's see how we can find the page that was sent to us. First of all, I could have just clicked the link in the message that was sent to our email account. That email typically contains your message and a link pointing to the page in question. But say I didn't do that and I'm already in OU Campus just like I am now. I can find the page pretty easily in a few different ways. Firstly, I could check on my checked out content gadget. Any page checked out to me is listed here, which includes files sent to me for approval. Going through the gadget, I can see the file with the thumbs up icon, and that's my file. The thumbs up icon indicates the file is pending my approval. The other way that I could find my file is through the workflow screen. I can find this underneath the dashboard menu in the global navigation bar, and it's where I can see all files that have been submitted to me or that I've submitted to someone else. Let's use this as our method of approval today. We can see that the file is listed here in the workflow screen, along with the name of the user who sent it to me and what time it was sent. We also see that familiar thumbs up icon again, signifying that it's waiting for my approval. If I click the View option in the row, the Workflow Information panel appears. This screen allows me to view the messages that are associated with the file, so I could hypothetically have a conversation with the person who sent the file to me, and maybe we'll discuss what needs to be done, or maybe I can offer them feedback on the page. Let's go to look at this page so we can approve it though. When I travel to the page, the first thing you'll notice is that the screen basically looks the same as if I were just editing the page outside of a workflow. Even though I'm mainly here to approve or decline the page, I can still make edits to the page, adjust page properties, and do all the other things that I could to any other page that's checked out to me. Just because I'm an approver doesn't mean I lose those abilities. When it comes to approving or declining though, let's take a look at the Decline button first. Declining the page will check the file back into the system while sending a message to the requester saying it was declined. The requester is then free to check it back out and make further changes. If you're an approver and you need to decline a page, it's always a good idea to make sure you're adding detailed information about what needs to change in the decline message. There's also a checkbox that says Revert to Previous Version. Essentially, when a file is declined normally, it's preserved in the state in which it was last saved, whether that was saved before it was sent to me or whether I made changes and saved it again. If I click Revert to Previous Version, OU Campus will take the page back to the state it was in before the requester saved it and sent it to me for approval. Essentially, it's wiping away all the changes that were made and telling the person who works on it next to start back from scratch. So let's go ahead and publish this page though, rather than decline it. Publishing the page is what approves it, so this dialog box really hasn't changed all that much. You still have final check, you can still schedule the page to publish at another time, and you can still add a version description. The only thing that's different is this approval tab, which is where you can edit the message that gets sent back to the submitter. The message notifies that the file has been approved and published. You can add feedback for the submitter to read here, or perhaps details of any edits that you had to make to the page before you published it. Once this file is published, the approval process has finished. Let's go ahead and go to the workflow screen again to see the status icon is now a radio tower icon, signifying that the page is approved and published. If I had declined it, it would have been a thumbs down icon instead. Once a file has either been approved or declined, I can now archive the workflow item so it doesn't clutter up my workflow screen. Archived items can be seen in the Archived Items view on the left. One thing to note is that even if I archive this workflow item, the other users involved in the workflow will still see it in their normal workflow screen until they choose to archive it as well. Alright, now that we've published our page and archived our workflow item, we're totally done. This marks the end of our quick lesson on workflow. Thanks for watching.